Hello and welcome to the Surgical Spirit podcast. I'm your host, Dr Haider Al-Hakim, the Third Eye Doctor. Pull up a chair and get ready for some candid and uncompromising discussion with experts, innovators, agitators, and influential people from every corner of health and well-being. From inside the hospital to at home in the kitchen, we're leaving no stone unturned in our quest to uncover the secrets of healthier, happier, more successful, and less stressful lives. Thank you so much for joining us, and without further ado, let's meet this episode's guest. Hello, Harry. We've started the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm very well. It's bloody cold, and I don't like cold weather.
It is cold.
So what do you do? What do you do in this situation? It's cold weather. How do you stay superhuman in this cold weather?
Yeah, so as you know, I'm all about feeling superhuman, doing the best I can to feel superhuman. Firstly, very obvious answer, keep the heating on, but get moving as well. I mean, get moving first thing. Like yesterday morning, I was in France. I was in Fontainebleau, and I took a walk, and it was so much colder there than it was here. It was like freezing. And the woods were so misty, but I realised I hadn't actually been in strange woods by myself for a long, long time, and I didn't know, and I could quite easily get lost, and it was very kind of eerie, kind of imagine like you're in the scene of some sort of horror movie kind of thing. But I went for like a nice 2-hour long walk, 4 layers on. Still got cold in my hands, even with gloves, hat, scarf, but keeping moving, which is something I talk about obviously a lot when it comes to health and well-being, movement. It doesn't have to be like a run or a jog or anything, but just moving. It's all good. It's all good.
Cool. And movement is the default really for the body rather than the sitting. So how much time can you not sit rather than how much time can you move? I think that's sort of a good.
Absolutely. Well, I'm standing right now.
Yeah, exactly. I need to stand up because I saw that.
I bought a standing desk like a couple of years ago, and it's been brilliant. Obviously, it's not the solution because you're still in one plane of motion. Yeah. But because you've spent 20, 30 years sitting, at least you're going to engage different muscles standing than you would be sitting. And it's not to say I stand all day; I sit as well.
And this brings us on to your passion for yoga.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been doing yoga for consistently. I say a twice a week practice on average for the last 10 years, which primarily I got into because I actually had a neck injury years and years ago from something in the gym, and had physio, was told that I could either do a surgery, some sort of injection, or physio. So I took the physio, but then the physio ran out after about 10 sessions or whatever it was. And I figured, you know what, I'll start doing yoga. And I dabbled with yoga before because I used to work night shifts, and I realized that I couldn't run on a treadmill after a long night shift because I almost collapsed once. And the yoga class was on at 9 a.m. and I went to that. So I dabbled in it a little bit before. And then I just found a good class around 2008, got into it. And I, when I look around the streets, I see people, old age people hunched over and things like that, and I didn't want to be like that. And so I made a commitment that twice a week I would leave the office at 5:30, regardless of what people thought about that, and for my own self-care, and 6 till 7:30 would do yoga twice a week. And then now I teach yoga, but that's part of my offering. My main thing is speaking and training on health, well-being, mindset and resilience. But obviously yoga, I have a holistic approach to my model of well-being, and movement is part of it, yoga is part of it.
I mean, what is it about yoga that really attracted it to you?
I guess I've been doing some level of sport or exercise for 35 odd years now. Like since I was quite young, I've been doing something like either judo or this or the other. And I guess for yoga, it was a different style of practice in that it wasn't as, I don't know what the word is,
forceful,
forceful, impactful, or aggressive, or this, that, and the other. I did like football, basketball.
Competitive.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't really compete against even yourself. It's just you get to learn your body, you get to kind of learn about the breath. You get to learn about how to stay focused. I remember when I first started doing yoga, my mind would always be all over the place, thinking about what happened at work, thinking about what's going for dinner. And it still gets like that sometimes, but it's a lot less than it ever was. So that's helped me. But also, as you get older, we lose that ability to just move, sit down and crouch and play with kids on the floor and do things like that. And I didn't want to be like that. And I knew that it's a good complement. The way I look at yoga is a bit like, imagine a building, a house. I still do lots of other things. Like later today, I'm going to go kettlebells, Thai boxing as well. So I do boxing, kettlebells, circuits, all sorts of stuff. But I always see yoga as being like, if you think of a house, maybe the cement, I guess, that holds everything together, like all the bits. So you might put all the foundations might be the basic strength training that you do, the things that you're able to do, and then you start adding on the fancier things like the nice windows and the conservatories, which is maybe your Thai boxing or your kettlebells, all that sort of stuff, or your football, your basketball. But I think for me, yoga was always going to be like that foundation that makes all the other things better. Most people will find that if they play tennis, they'll be better at tennis when they do yoga as well. Wow. If they do Thai boxing, they'll be better at Thai boxing if they do yoga as well. So it just makes everything else better if you like.
And also, it's an ancient philosophy and an ancient school of thought as well, which does have a foundation in human history.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6,000 years old, although the movement style that we see in the West is literally about 120 years old.
And do you think that's causing a lot of issues in terms of health or wellness, the new style of movement that the West has brought in?
No, but I just think it's very much representative of, say, society in general, which takes a very reductionist approach to problem solving. You're a medic, so in the medicine world, where we look at something in isolation, we go, we take an orange and we go, oh, it's the vitamin C that we need. But actually, there's tons of other interactions within that orange that enter into your body and do things. And I think we have, to our detriment, taken this very reductionist approach, which is, yoga means union. Okay, it means to yoke.
So it's bring everything together. How can you find a really good yoga teacher?
I wrote a blog post once years ago about something about beginner's guide to yoga, and whenever I talk about yoga teachers and yoga to new people, I always say this: go to several different teachers, several different studios, and several different styles, because otherwise it's like going to the movies once, seeing a movie, and saying, well, I don't like that movie, which means I don't like any movie. But actually, you're going to try different cinemas. You're going to try different types
genres,
all of that, and then you'll say, okay, I like that kind of movie. Okay, and I say the same thing with yoga: is try lots of different teachers, lots of different styles, and then find one that kind of fits to you. And as your practice develops, your criteria for a teacher will develop as well, and you'll start to try different teachers. I mean,
yeah, and this brings us on to all these different gurus, because I mean, you're a guru yourself, and yet there's so many gurus on the internet and on YouTube and sort of out there. How can we find the real guru from the fake?
Well, firstly, I'm not sure I like the term guru anyway. I'm a student first, and then I like to pass on what I learn to other people. So I guess I would be a teacher second. But obviously, once you get it, you'll realize that you're your own guru. That you're going to teach yourself things. If you're looking for real gurus, I would say look at babies. Babies are my teachers. They teach you how to breathe. They teach you how to sit. They teach you how to forgive. They teach you how to live in the moment. They teach you how to not be attached to things too much. They teach you how to, smile and laugh.
Wow.
So if you want a guru, look at a child.
Wow. How far, I mean, in terms of the age, are we looking at sort of up to 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds?
Yeah, that kind of age,
Yeah, and, until they get conditioned by parents and school and culture and religion and sort of society.
But even still then, there's a certain element. But yeah, up to about age 4. they're pretty good teachers. 4
So
or
we
5.
can argue that, you know, the more childlike we are, the more toddler-like we are, the more we're in tune with our
Yeah, I mean,
superpower.
when you think about like meditation is often not about getting no thoughts, but it is about kind of releasing the thoughts that come in. But we try to get to this clear mind perspective, but actually that's kind of the area that we were when we were born. Yeah, when we were born, we were kind of born with this empty mind, and then lots of crap comes into it. And through meditation, we're trying to get back to that state. So, you know, we kind of had all the answers intuitively when we were children, and we lose that through various, you know, experiences, conditioning, people, places, all of that influences our lives, which is, you know, it's not good or bad, it just is. And if you can learn to get a bit more in touch with your body, your breath, your mind, you'll start to be able to sift out the kind of the fake gurus from the real gurus. If you are looking for a teacher, you know, ask yourself, you know, are they living what they preach? Now, you know, I don't preach what I do 100% of the time, because it's unrealistic, the things that I do, to do them 100% of the time. But, you know, people get an intuitive sense for whether someone is, you know, bullshitting them or not. We've got quite high BS radars. And I think trust in your gut about things, you know, does that person have a reputation from people you trust as well, that you already know? Is a good way to look at it. What's in it for them? I mean, obviously, you know, if your profession is teaching people, you want to make money. You need to. If you can't maintain the monetary side, you can't maintain the message either. So I wouldn't say that, oh, gurus have to be like, you know, people that aren't interested in money and aren't interested in all this, because I don't think that's true. But what I do think is that you should find someone that resonates with you, that's got something to teach you, is humble in their own like philosophies as well. Maybe that they could be wrong, you know, with some of their stuff. There's no real absolute truth as far as I currently believe it to be. You know, and also know that their way is not necessarily going to be the only way, and it might be just what's worked for them. What I do certainly has worked for me and worked for many people that I speak with and coach and train, and yet there may be things that don't work for other people. And, you know, I say, for example, diet, that actually listening to your body is a good idea when it comes to diet a lot of the time. However, you have to go through a training period first, because if you're listening to your body right now and your body is telling you McDonald's, Snickers bar, this and the other, it's because it's been conditioned that way. But once you kind of get through that and you start to peel that away, then actually, you know, not getting into any kind of diet, religions or philosophies, just listening to your body and saying, well, actually right now I do feel like having a bit of egg. Right now my body feels like it needs some chips or crisps, and that's fine, because that's, you know, maybe it needs the carbs, maybe it needs the salt, maybe it needs the protein or the fat, you know, and listening to your body then is a good thing. So getting back in tune with yourself is and you'll find out that you're your own guru. I mean, you know, you sort of got all the answers inside, and it's about listening carefully and tuning in and introspecting inside of you. Now given that you're superhuman, Super Harry, what are your kryptonites? Well, firstly, I would say that we're all superhuman. We've all got to just unlock our own inner superpowers. And like I say, you know, as well as being superhuman, I'm human. And when I mean superhuman, I don't mean like special powers or anything. I just mean that actually you're living at a superior level to maybe the average person walking down the street, or the superior version of you. You are your best day, basically. But rather than that best day happening once in a while, it's happening, you know, 7, 8, maybe 9 days out of 10. Rather than, you know, it probably won't happen 10 days out of 10. But in terms of kryptonite, I mean, there's a few. If we're talking about food, for sure, it's things like pop chips, crisps, chips. You'll always see me kind of vying for chips and crisps and things like that. I'm also partial to a little bit of nice quality vegan organic chocolate. I love all that stuff. So an on bar or two will definitely find its way into my diet from time to time. You know, I'd say, I suppose from a work perspective, and maybe people can relate to this, it's possibly spreading myself too thin with rather than like zeroing in on one specific field. Now, I know in medicine, as many of your listeners might well be in medical fields, that's kind of ingrained into you. You kind of go through that specialism, and that's probably why if I were to be a doctor, I'd probably end up being a GP or something like that, or some sort of integrative, holistic.
You'd be a very good GP, actually. You'd be an awesome GP.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Because I'm just like interested in lots of different things, and I've always found it a struggle to kind of niche down. Even when I was at school, you know, I'd be quite good at basketball and football and athletics and all of that, but I wouldn't be excellent.
You want to know everything. You want to know everything.
But I wouldn't be excellent at any one thing. And I guess to my detriment, that means that I haven't specialized in certain ways. But to my benefit, it means that when I've looked at, say, my health model, which people can find about on one of my websites, is actually, it looks at the whole picture. Okay, so it's not just looking at, I'm a movement specialist, it's all about exercise, or I'm the diet person, it's all about this, or I'm the meditation expert, it's all about this. Actually, the leadership beat model, which is the philosophy that I've got on my website, harrykalymnios.com, you can see there's a picture there, and it's got everything in there that I've seen over 7, 8, 10 years of studying this stuff, where I've looked at different experts and I've pieced together the 4 main areas and then the subsets within that of what goes into healthy well-being, people who want that superhuman energy level. So
wonderful. I mean, you know, check this guy out. This guy knows tons of stuff. He's also a mathematician, so he's very, very clever.
I did maths A level. I did physics and astrophysics at
astrophysics, even worse.
University level, but that was a while back.
So we're coming towards the end of the podcast. I want 3 of your best hacks for our listeners.
Okay, I'll give you those 3 hacks in one hack. Okay, now you are high performance people. Yeah, you're medical professionals. You're professionals, and also studying medicine, you probably have had lots of acronyms, right? That you had to learn to remember things. So I'm going to give you another acronym, but many of you like high performance vehicles, you like high performance living. So think of a high performance vehicle, and the one I'm thinking of is BMW. And the reason I'm thinking of it is for a very specific reason, because if we're thinking about 3 things that you can do to become a high performance person in your life, then first thing you should do, first thing in the morning, is this idea of a BMW, and also throughout the day. Now, the B stands for breathing.
Great.
Okay, so take some proper deep diaphragmatic breaths, maybe 10 powerful deep breaths in the morning, and continue to breathe diaphragmatically throughout the day. So breathing. The M stands for movement. Okay, so make sure that even if it's not your main exercise of the day, and rarely is it mine in the morning, but moving 5-10 minutes, first thing in the morning, whether that's me jumping on a rebounder, like a mini trampoline for 5-10 minutes, or just doing some stretching or some lunges or some jumping jacks or whatever it is. Doesn't have to be your main workout. This is just to get you moving. And then W stands for water. Okay, most of the time people reach for their phone or a coffee first thing in the morning. Having about, depending on your size and everything, but I would go for half a litre of water first thing in the morning, if not more. Before you reach for coffee, before you reach for tea, before you reach for anything, you're either going to reach to hug your partner or you're going to reach for that glass of water.
Have both. Have both.
Yeah, have both. Both of you have the water. Yeah. So we often think about having an outer bath, and as my the podcast, one of the podcasts I like listening to, Sean Stevenson's Model Health Show, he always says think about having an inner bath. Okay, so having an inner bath. Nice. Okay, flushing everything out. So I normally start with some warm water, like 1/3 hot water and 2/3 cold water, and I have a glass of that or 2 first thing. Then I have some normal water. I have some hot water and lemon. Right now I'm having some herbal tea. You see me with smoothies.
Mate, you're fully hydrated. You're always on.
So BMW as 3 tips: breathing, movement, and water.
Wonderful, Harry. It's been a great pleasure. How can people get hold of you?
The best way would be via my main website. Now, my name's spelled a bit weird. It's Harry Kalymnios, so that's HARIKALYMNIOS.com, or another way is you look up Harry, HARI, into Google, along with the words The Thought, as in thinking, gym. So if you go Harry The Thought Gym in Google, you'll find thethoughtgym.com, you'll find harrykalymnios.com, you'll find my YouTube channels, you'll find Instagram, you'll find Twitter. But I'm on social media, The Thought Gym. But if you want to know about the Leadership Beat Model, the blogs, all the blogs are on harrykalymnios.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Harry. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this installment of the Surgical Spirit podcast. For all the latest in the world of surgical spirit, don't forget to follow on Twitter at The Third Eye Doc and catch me on Facebook at the page The Third Eye Doctor. You can visit the website at www.thethirdeyedoctor.co.uk for more information on the work that I do. And please send us feedback and questions and suggestions for the podcast. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. I've been Dr. Haider Al-Hakim, and I'll see you next time.